Okay, so I'm going to vote for Mr. Jagmeet Singh. I believe he's from somewhere in British Columbia, Canada. And he wears a turban every day, so I'm going to. It's most likely he's of the Sikh faith. And it's a pretty good faith overall because it's about being benevolent to others. So, from that standpoint, I don't know what their individual peccadillos are as far as, who do they get to discriminate against. I don't know if there's anything in the religion that says, we don't allow people to sit on the fences on Thursdays or something, because everyone knows that the other religions have all got certain people that they want to cast out. So I don't know. Just the people that I've met that are of the Sikh religion, I always like them. So, and the people, well, I just want to get to my open letter to Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh, I'm voting for you despite the fact that your policies are really not what I want. There's a few things that I like more social housing being built because there's nowhere for people to live in the capitalist nightmare. But basically, I want you to dismantle capitalism and I want you to get rid of money and I want you to institute the Charles Eisenstein plan to get the whole planet off of capitalism and money and banks and credit cards and get us onto a spiritual system where we are gifting our talents to one another. And how we're going to organize it is by synchronicity, serendipity, and intuition, and love for others. This is heaven on earth, and that's what I want. And, Mr. Singh's policies really don't say this, but the other people who are running, I don't like at all. The only other one that I might consider in the past was the Green Party, but pretty much they're so tied into capitalism. They just want to put prices on things, like prices on carbon, which is, I can't afford the carbon that I need now, and I don't want the price to go up. And the leader of the Greens in Canada is a noted alcoholic. So I don't want another alcoholic prime minister. The first prime minister of Canada, Sir John A. Macdonald, was a noted alcoholic. He would drink a quart of whiskey before he would go into Parliament, and he was very loquacious after a quart of whiskey, which means that he was able to convince people to do whatever he wanted done, as long as they listened, I suppose, and perhaps he liked to share the booze among the other politicians. But Sir John A. Macdonald's most famous accomplishment, besides getting all the provinces to agree to become a country, was to connect all the provinces together with a railway, the Canadian National Railway, which is no longer owned by the country of Canada, is a private company. So this is the problem: is he was a conservative, Sir John A. Macdonald, and even though he wanted this national railway, somehow it got sold off to the corporate world, and Canada as a whole has been sold off to the corporate world. It no longer belongs to Canadians. It belongs to, well, not to Canadians. Who exactly owns it? I don't know who owns most of the lands. Well, it ain't me, babe, and I'm a Canadian. So why is it that they say, well, you're trapped in this particular landmass? It's a huge landmass, but it's mostly cold, very cold. It's vast and it's empty, and you're not allowed to, go find a piece of unused land and claim it as your own. At one time you were. In the late 1800s, you were allowed to go to the prairie provinces and stake some land It was called homesteading, and it was legal. And then after you built a house and you started to farm on it, and once you'd been there for a little while, some years, it became yours. Land grant to you just by using it. We no longer have that in Canada. You have to buy land from corporations and rich people. So Canada is not for Canadians. It's and there's plenty of foreign people that own property in Canada in the large cities. Vancouver is full of large towers in the city that are, we're told, owned by people from foreign lands, people who have great deals of money. But if you're Canadian, well, you don't get paid very much in Vancouver at all. And in order to afford even the rent of one of these rental buildings, well, you better not be making anywhere near the minimum wage in British Columbia, because you won't be able to survive. So that's the way this country treats Canadians. It treats Canadians like shit. And who is the problem, people? The Conservative Party of Canada, the Liberal Party of Canada. Those are the only two parties ever to hold the Prime Minister's chair. And both of those parties have sold out Canadians to foreign interests, primarily rich foreign interests. Let's call them the cabal that owns everything. And then all the hangers-oners who like the system of, I can go to someone else's country and I can own all kinds of things in their country, but the people that live in that country, the people that were born in that country, sorry, you've been priced out of your own country. That's the way it is in Canada. That's the way it is all over the world. We have got this control system called money, banksterism, and capitalism, which is a curse on the planet and a curse on the people. So anyway, that's the end of my open letter, Mr. Singh. That's the way it is, and it's time for someone to change things. And given the fact that a lot of Canadians are brainwashed into believing that nothing changes, regardless of who's in there, they always get screwed. We want to give you a chance, and given today's poll numbers, if they're accurate, it means that they're predicting you're not going to win, Mr. Singh. So I'm going to vote for you as my protest vote. My other protest way is not to vote at all, but I've decided I'm going to give Mr. Singh my protest vote, and even if he's not elected or his local candidate isn't elected, I'm going to say I protested the two existing governing parties, the Liberals and the Conservatives, by voting for the next most significant party, the New Democratic Party, which is Jagmeet Singh's party. And that's my protest. That's my statement. If someone can arrange to get a spaceship to come and beam me up, I'd prefer to leave planet Earth altogether, because I've had it waiting around for things to change. I'm Harry Weaver, your narrator. Thank you for watching our comedy channel. And if you tune in later on tonight, you'll find out who is going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. Is it going to be Justin? Nice hair, but he's just not ready. Trudeau. Andrew, I'm a homophobe, religious fanatic, conservative, and I want to roll back everything except tax breaks for the corporations. Scheer. Those are the ones that they're predicting are going to win. And if so, then I'm going to go to the movies and forget about life for a while.